Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It is Friday. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. We've got three talented individuals in the studio with us. Alan Ruff is alongside Barry Ferguson and another equally gifted midfielder in Leanne Crichton, who's part of the 23 women going to the World Cup as representatives of Scotland. And we wish them the very best of luck. So, women's football on the agenda on tonight's programme, as well as these other topics. Yeah, lots to talk about, including the last weekend of the Premiership in Scotland, Saturday, with lots at stake at the bottom end of the table, and on Sunday, as well as the title and the trophy being handed over to Celtic. There's a small matter of who's going to finish third between Kilmarnock and, of course, Aberdeen. So all that to talk about, including, of course, our very special guest. I say special, she's been part of the team for such a long time, Leanne Crichton. Congratulations from everyone on the team. We've never been so happy for you to be included in that Scotland squad.
Thank you so much. It's been an interesting journey up until now, and it's nice to be able to relax, having received the good news, and look forward to enjoying it.
Yeah, there's a World Cup ahead for you, and of course, you know, I can see you definitely being a starter. You've been digging in. You've been absolutely fantastic at the tail end. Shelley includes you in that squad. Of course, you will be able to say that you've been part of a World Cup squad. You've been to a World Cup. Ruffy's been to 3 World Cups. And then, you know, and don't forget Barry's also here in the studio with us. You did see the squad there, but look at that squad. Tell us about the strength of it.
Well, it speaks for itself. I think when you look from the goalkeepers right through to the front team, the number of caps, Ruffy was questioning how that's a possibility, but I was speaking even about Jo Love. Her debut was back in 2002 and 190 odd caps, and she's still going strong, and she's still one of the mainstays in the team. And then you look at the youth that we have as well, in terms of Erin, the successful season that she's had at Chelsea. There's so many names now within the squad, and I think that's the beauty. Even ourselves having 5 players from Glasgow City represented, I think is a huge thing on our part, and I think it speaks volumes for the Scottish game in the last couple of years, that even having lost all those players to teams across Europe, that the Scottish-based players have still stuck in there and are well represented.
Yeah, I have mentioned it to you before, but I think to the lads, Barry, Leanne might not realise it now, but you know, in the next year, 10 years, 20 years, these girls are pioneers. These are the inspirational characters for future generations. To do it first, they will be remembered forever and a day.
Yep, the young girls coming through want to try and make a career in the professional game. These girls, they'll look up to them. What they've done is fantastic. They've bettered their male friends as well. The guys, they can't get into a World Cup or qualify for a major championship, but listen, what they've done is fantastic, and they'll go over there and just go over and enjoy it, and hopefully they do well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Japan, Argentina, and starting off with England. Ruffy, we've talked about the highs, about the positivity of being involved in the squad. Can you let Leanne into what's going to happen when they make a back end of it and she has to go into some kind of witness protection scheme as you had to?
I don't think for a minute that'll happen. I'm sure they'll do particularly well. And it'd be amazing if you did progress. It would be fantastic out of the group. I mean, Leanne was there right at the early stages. You're now talking about a professional outfit now. I mean, a real professional outfit. And Leanne's touched on all the girls that are playing throughout countries and down in England. And that just shows you where they've come from. And they deserve every success that's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. We wish them the very best of luck, that's for sure. OK, over and above that, Scotland's still on our minds in the men's game as well, Leanne. Your red-hot favourite, Steve Clarke?
Yeah, I fancy him for the job as well. I think he's done an incredible job at Kilmarnock since taking over. I just like the way that he goes about his business and the way that he has his players operating. And I think to have the choice of him in the hot seat and the pool of players that Scotland have got now at their disposal, I do think that the men's side is a talented bunch of players that should definitely be successful, and I think that he would be the right man to guide us forward.
Yeah, he's won the Manager of the Year at the PFA Awards last week, and this weekend he's winning the Scottish Football Writers Manager of the Year. Surely there can only be one candidate, or do you think Derek McInnes will have a change of heart up there at Pittodrie?
Well, for me it was between the two of them. Two of them the job that Derek's done up at Aberdeen over the last 5 years, I think, has been great, because he's had to change his squad every single summer, losing 8, 9, 10 players. But the job, you've got to be honest, the job that Stevie Clarke's done the last 2 years has been incredible. And I think he'd be a great manager to play under. You just see the difference he's made to the players at Kilmarnock. They play with so much confidence. So if he does get it, I think it's a great choice.
Yeah, and of course the SFA have got just a wonderful way of interviewing people for the job, Ruffy. We really want you to be the Scotland manager, but hang on to this 2-game ban for your comments about the referee, Stephen McLean.
Yeah, that's one of the credentials. I think we need a manager like that who's not going to suffer fools gladly. Somebody who's going to come in, if you don't want to play for the country, then don't bother turning up. And I think that's what kind of guy Stevie will be. I think there'll be rules down there on the Scotland scale, and I think you'll see the benefit if he gets it. Because I think he won't stand any nonsense for anybody.
Yeah, well, Killy's Alex Dyer said it will be difficult to see him go. He's done a wonderful job, and the manager would obviously feel the pain of the decision in leaving Killy.
I know his ability. I know that he's a good manager, a very good manager. If the country comes for him, then it'd be a great honour. Do you know what I mean? And I know he knows that. He's done a great job here. He's always left it open that he'll decide at the end of the season. That's no secret. At the end of the day, it's a hard one to turn down. We know that. It's the pinnacle of anyone's career. So we'll just leave it up to the gaffer, and what will be, will be.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always tell somebody's an absolute shoe-in for the job. They don't turn up for the press conference when they should. And Alec had to nip in there as his assistant and try and take all the questions on board. And suddenly, they know exactly what's at stake. At the weekend, if they can defeat Rangers, they've got the better goal difference. They'll finish third.
I don't think they'll defeat Rangers, if I'm being honest. I think Rangers are in a great place at this moment in time. But listen, you're going down, Kilmarnock at home are a tough team to beat, but if you're asking my honest opinion, I think Rangers will go down there and win.
Yeah, I think they'll go down as well. I think they'll learn from the mistakes for the last time. They tried to play a style of football down there on that surface and it never worked. I think you'll see the form that they're on just now and they'll carry it down there, and I think they'll win as well.
Leanne?
I think it will be difficult for Rangers. Going back to what Ruffy was saying about the way Steve Clarke has his players performing, I was at the Kilmarnock Aberdeen game a couple of weeks back, and even the atmosphere in Rugby Park has completely changed. The way that they respond to the team now, the way that the players conduct themselves, and they give it an absolute 100%. I think the pitch, if it's the weather that we've seen of late and it's sticky, it's the Astro, it doesn't suit Rangers the way that they play. I think possibly a draw, but I think it will be a Rangers side that's performed really, really well in the last 5 or 6 games, so they'll be a tough opposition.
Yeah, just the last point, John Flanagan doesn't get the 2-game ban. His appeal was successful.
Yeah, I'm surprised, if I'm being honest. If you want an honest opinion, I did think it was a red card, but listen, I'm happy to get away with it, because for me, I thought he was immense in Sunday against Celtic, and he's come into that left-back position over the last few weeks and performed really high, so listen, it's a positive that he'll win the Rangers team on Sunday. Yeah,
you mentioned you were at the Killy Aberdeen. Was that with your BBC hat?
Well, I never wanted to mention that, but you've brought it up, so yeah. There I have it.
How the memory has changed from the PLZ days.
I'm a huge Kilmarnock fan, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, it's always good to work for one of the small independent broadcasters like the BBC. Here at PLZ, the empire continues to grow with Darth Vader than C3PO. Anyway, coming up after the break, we are going to talk Celtic. Of course, Neil Lennon's had a blast at some Celtic fans who are well used to success, but he just quotes the days when Celtic couldn't win games, weren't winning titles, and highlighted that. So we will hear from Neil Lennon coming up on that and get the thoughts of the guys after the quiz. Gary O'Connor was the answer. Well done to Shan Lloyd, who wins a T-shirt in our competition for the quiz. And of course, you would have played with Gary O'Connor. You were quite close.
I've obviously played with Scotland with Gary, and obviously I went down to Birmingham, and some boy, but see when he put his mind to it, he was a really good player.
Yeah.
But listen, things happen in life. I seen that he'd done an interview a few months back. He's doing okay now, so good luck to him.
Absolutely. Russia, Ruffy. If you would have played in Russia, all that money you could earn, you know, all that tax-free money, would you be happy?
But I've told you, money's not everything.
Yeah, is it? Just out of curiosity, if someone offered you the money now to go, you know, at your age, and you look at the World Cup coming up, and they said, look, give you a couple of years, would you go?
I think it would need to be more than the money. I've probably sacrificed a lot of income over the years, so for me playing football, it's never been about that. But listen, some of the money that footballers get is life changing, and I think in any job you would need to look at what was best for you. But I don't think the chances of that happening will be something that I'll need to consider too much. Yeah,
but you did it before. I mean, that's the one thing about you guys being trailblazers. There are girls now who will, because of the nature of the way the league's structured, suddenly there's stronger leagues elsewhere, and they'll be able to cherry pick. A lot of Scottish girls in the next decade, 2 decades, will have the chance to fly the nest quicker.
Yeah, and I think that's the fear for the Scottish teams, and I think that's why off the back of the World Cup we'll have to do more to strengthen the Scottish game and the structure that we have here. It's all right having the investment at grassroots, but you need to provide a final destination for these players that provides an income, and right now in Scotland we don't provide that for enough players that are coming through. So that's something that I would like to see change, but certainly it'll be fantastic, the opportunities that will come with it, the money and the life-changing experiences that players will be exposed to, and as you're saying, the coming years, decades. It's an exciting time for women's football, and it's a shame I'm the wrong side of 30.
Yeah. Good to know that you're not bitter about that then, as we crack on. Celtic will get a guard of honour, Ruffy, a guard of honour from Hearts. What about that? A bit of dignity, sporting respect, integrity in the sport is alive and well.
That's always a good sight to see, you know, that some clubs do that, but we know why Rangers never done it. The rivalry isn't the same as it is at Hearts, so I mean, well done to Hearts, you know, because you just clap them on the park and then you go and try and beat them, so that's the be-all and end-all of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, tongue-in-cheek, we've already discussed it. Who cares? Players just get on with their job and do it. I don't think it was a huge bugbear. It was much ado about nothing, to be honest with you. Neil Lennon, on the other hand, is more concerned with some Celtic fans who obviously have been very abusive towards his reign. He had to come in and take the reins after Brendan Rodgers' departure, and if you change it too much, suddenly 8 in a row might not have been a reality. You had to just keep a well-oiled machine going, whether it was liked or not by the Celtic fans. He's suffered a fair bit of abuse, and he actually said some of them need to get a reality check on consistently thinking Celtic are going to win.
This is a new wave of supporter. Social media is not the real world. I live in the real world. You know, I'm not on social media, so I don't read it. I don't listen to it. All the people come up and go, God, they said that about you. It's not real. It's just... might even be a fake accounts here, there, and it's just not real. I know you guys have to work in that environment, and you're welcome to it. I think it's poisonous myself, but good luck. I think there's like, you know, a new breed of supporter, whether it be here or elsewhere, that, you know, are, I don't know, since 2000, so that's what, 19, 20 years ago, the only thing they've really seen is success. You know, they don't remember the 90s, which the older generation probably do. And I certainly can't take it for granted. They might, but that comes from an immaturity from their point of view.
Well, it's a good point he makes there, Barry, which is quite simply Celtic fans since 2000 are well used to being in about either contesting or winning titles. It's been, a golden era for them. But back in the 90s, they were in the wilderness.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think the criticism he's had over the last few weeks has been over the top. People have got to remember he's come in, he's got them over the line in the league. It's not his team. It's not his kind of formation. He says plenty of times before he didn't want to change too much because of the stage when he came in. So I think he's done what he's had to do. He's got one more cup that he's obviously wanting to win, and if he does that, job done for me.
Yeah, of course he's second favourite behind Rafa Benitez, but Lennon's quick to point out he has experienced winning a title with Celtic as player and manager.
I have no reason, there's no evidence to suggest I can't take the job on. I've been here since 2000, and in that time Celtic have won 14 league titles, and I've played a part in 10 of them. So I think I know how to win titles here. I think that gets overlooked. If we win the cup, that'll be my 7th cup. And any time we lost the league that I've been involved in, it was on the last day of the season. As a player, coach and manager. Any time I've won the league, as a player, coach and manager, we've scooshed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point there. Out of 10 of the last 14 league titles, he's played or managed.
That's an incredible statistic, really. I think Neil's interview, he's coming across just that wee bit defensive, I think, because he's obviously very proud of his achievements at his time at Celtic, and rightly so. The negative criticism that they've received is probably undeserved. But I think that happens when you're so used to winning, and fans become accustomed to that happening week in, week out, and even a draw then becomes not good enough. A defeat seems like an absolute crisis. But what that team's achieved over the last couple of years, even without Neil there, has been incredible, and that's something that's probably not sustainable. So I think that's where Celtic fans have to be realistic that probably won't be sustainable for the next 3 years, and beyond that, just it's like football, you have to enjoy the moment, and like Neil's trying to say, there's still a trophy to be won at the weekend. It's been a successful year so far, so just enjoy the moment. Don't think about the things that might happen, or try and foresee things coming in the future. But it's a great, time to be a Celtic fan and player.
Yeah, and one of the all-time greats for Celtic will be handing over the trophy to commemorate 8 consecutive titles. Ruffy, the number 8, Paul McStay. Now, in my opinion, the best 2 midfielders over the last, 20, 30 years. Paul McStay is one of them, and the other man's sitting right next to you.
Yeah, well, I never played with Barry. I certainly did play with Paul McStay at Celtic in '88. He was a tremendous professional, and it's what you would want to see in a playmaker like Barry. Somebody who's prepared to take the ball, somebody who's prepared to control the game. Take all the pressure, take the pressure off the rest of the team, and that's what he did. And there's Barry and Paul McStay. There isn't many players like that going about now. You don't see them in big games, dominating games by themselves, single-handedly. Give me the ball, I'll make things happen. And it's just died out of the game.
Yeah, okay. Anybody going for Hearts in this one? Okay.
Celtic.
Okay, what about the other match, which I think Hibs against Aberdeen, Ruffy? There's something to play for here. We've talked about Killie. Hibs against Aberdeen. The Dons need to get down there and win and hope Rangers do the business with Killie.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to go for Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen have got something to go for. I think Hibs' season's just come to an end after a great time since the new manager's been there. So, yeah, I think just Aberdeen have just edged that 1-2-1.
It's 1 each for me.
Yeah. Leanne?
I actually fancy Hibs. I think listening to Paul Heckingbottom last week, he was disappointed with the side's performance, described them as rubbish, I think. I would expect a response from them, even if it's the end of the season or not. I think there'll be guys there that are playing for their position in the side next year, and it's always a tough place to go, Easter Road, so I fancy a Hibs win.
Okay. Okay, at the bottom end, Ruffy, I've got to say, it's down to the wire. Is it going to be St Mirren or Hamilton for you? Dundee take on St Mirren, the Ackies at home to St Johnstone.
I think it's a pressure. Two of them are pressure games. You know, it's which players respond to the pressures that are on.
Yeah.
And obviously,
God. Honestly, I cannot wait to get to the summer because you're waffling. I could have gone on a
Who do you
3-week
fancy?
holiday. Just tell
I
us.
fancy Dundee.
Right,
There's
okay.
The big doing Sunday night, and I hope that would be a down.
I really thought this one
Right,
through.
so who's in the playoff?
I'm going to go for Hamilton. I don't think they can keep escaping it every year.
I've got to go for my hometown club to stay up.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with football.
It's my second team. I always keep an eye out on them, so I'm hopeful they'll do it.
Just give us an opinion, Leanne.
I think Hamilton will be in the playoff. I think St Mirren have done enough. I think unbeaten in 5. I think they'll be consistent with that. And
Listen, we've got 30 seconds left. Man City or Watford? Don't bother telling us about the implications. Who can win? Man City or Watford?
Man City.
Treble?
Yes, treble's
yeah,
one.
agreed.
Yeah, okay, listen. Leanne, honestly, it's unbelievable. Great to have you back in the studio. Although she's gone into that kind of a wee BBC, you know, 3,000 words when 20 would do. Ruffy's the classic case. How Ruffy's not been in the BBC, I will never know. Takes you on a mazy. Barry and I are growing beards and everything listening to him. Listen, thanks for watching. Good night.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.